Let me ask you something. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," even when you had the time to do it today? Be honest. How many opportunities have you missed because you didn't feel like putting in some work? What would your life be if you capitalized all those opportunities by taking action at the right time? Seems fascinating, doesn't it? Well, what are you lacking? What's that important habit, a powerful catalyst that you lack, which gets in the way of you reaching your goals? Before we reveal the answer, let's talk about the story about two people. The first one, let's call him David, had big dreams. He wanted to write a book, build a business empire, and travel the world. But every time he sat down to write, something got in the way. Sometimes it was Netflix. Sometimes it was social media, and sometimes it was just the thought, "I'll start tomorrow." Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into years, and he didn't get anything done. His dreams stayed, just dreams. However, the second one, let's call him Alex, had similar dreams. But he had one thing which David didn't have: discipline. Through his sheer discipline, he managed to wake up early every day, work out, and then sat down to write the book he always wanted. In the meantime, he started the business as well. Even though some days he felt like not working, but he did anyway. And guess what happened? Alex wrote that book, built a successful business, and was going from country to country to fulfill his dreams of traveling the world. What separated Alex and David? Was it talent or luck? No. It was discipline. And here's a kicker. Discipline isn't about being perfect all the time. It's about showing up every day even when it's hard. Remember, discipline is not a restrictive force, but the very foundation of strength, progress, and lasting fulfillment. This video will explore how cultivating discipline transforms weakness into power and stagnation into achievement. Let's get started. Discipline is never about restricting yourself. It's about empowering yourself. Consider it a form of self-mastery, a conscious choice to align your actions with your values. Imagine you wake up one day knowing that you're living the life full of actions aligned with your deepest values and purposes. How great that would be. Well, to make the definition of discipline more clear, let's see what neuroscience says. There's an area in brain called as prefrontal cortex, which controls your ability to resist temptation and stay focused. This area is also known as executive center because it is involved in decision-making and self-control. But here's a catch. Research studies by Roy Baumeister suggests that willpower is like a muscle that can get tired. Have you ever felt drained after a long day of making decisions, only to give in to that late-night snack or Netflix binge? That's what psychologists call ego depletion. Let me tell you an interesting story of a girl named Sarah. Well, Sarah is a writer who dreams of finishing her novel. She sets an alarm every day, but whenever it rings, she always hits that snooze button. "I'll do it later," she tells herself. Days pass. Even the blank page is mocking her and laughing at her poor discipline. In the end, she feels guilty, overwhelmed, and finally stops trying. Her goal of writing that incredible novel has turned into ashes. Sounds familiar? This, my friends, is the cycle of weakness. Procrastination leads to regrets. Regrets lead to low self-esteem, which further diminishes the ability to act, and thus, a never-ending vicious cycle starts. What's stopping you from putting in work and acting at the right time? What's that one thing telling you to procrastinate important tasks? What if the key to a fulfilling life lies in not controlling your external world, but your internal world? Like mastering your own mind? Well, the Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, believed that actual freedom comes from self-control, and that we can't control what happens to us, but we surely can control how we choose to respond. Marcus Aurelius, in his book Meditations, says, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Now ask yourself, will your life take a turn if you choose to control your attitude? We have seen a lot of examples of military battles where small but disciplined army beat much larger armies. How did that happen? Take the example of Spartans. They weren't born stronger than others. Instead, they learned the power of discipline from childhood. The Roman legions succeeded because of the very same attitude. To them, discipline was key, to fight together for a common cause. The Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, wrote the golden words that everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. There's another literary example, given by one of the greatest philosophers in the history, Friedrich Nietzsche. In his famous book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche introduced the concept of self-overcoming. According to him, the greatest achievement of human beings is to transcend their limits and become who they truly are. Nietzsche wrote, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." Now ask yourself, what would it take for you to truly overcome yourself, your laziness, doubts and fears, and unlock the potential that God has instilled in you? When someone is talking about discipline, it is impossible to not talk about the tennis legend Novak Djokovic, who became who he is today through the power of discipline. Picture this. It's 2012 Australian Open final between the great Rafael Nadal and the legendary Novak Djokovic, one of the longest matches in tennis history, stretched to almost 5 hours. The physical toll is unimaginable. Muscles screaming, lungs burning, every ounce of energy drained. Impeccable talent and ability on both sides. However, one thing separates both of them: discipline. Novak Djokovic doesn't just rely on talent. Years of hard work, relentless training, and sheer mental strength grants him this huge victory over his competitor, the mighty Rafael Nadal. Djokovic's discipline isn't just limited on the tennis court. It's his way of living. From waking up early, yoga, meditation, and working out to a gluten-free diet, Djokovic is the biggest example of sheer discipline. What's even more fascinating is that his discipline isn't about restricting himself. It's about empowering himself to become the greatest. His story isn't about playing tennis at the highest level. It's a blueprint for excellence in almost every field of life. Remember, he's a human being just like you are. Then what's stopping you from being highly disciplined like Novak? The choice is yours. Be disciplined or forget your dreams forever. In the words of William Arthur Ward, the price of excellence is discipline. The cost of mediocrity is disappointment. Well, make these 5 key habits and actions an important part of your daily routine to become resilient and chase your dreams. These are setting clear goals and priorities, creating a structured routine, overcoming procrastination, building mental resilience, accountability and support. In the words of Indira Gandhi, freedom is disciplined thought and action. Discipline is, in turn, nothing but the art of being free. Start today. Choose one small act of discipline and commit to it. Master it. Implement these sheer acts of discipline one by one and transform your life forever. Your dreams are waiting to be fulfilled by you. And what's the secret of fulfilling them? You know better now. Your future is forged in the fires of your discipline. All right, guys, this is it for today. If this video helped you in any way, give us a thumbs up and subscribe the channel for more inspirational content. Until next time.